Hello, welcome back to Podium with myself, Rich Newman, Hannah England and Katie Smith. Episode 11 officially. Thank you all for your support so far in the first 5 weeks. If you're new, you're very welcome. Have a look back through our athlete interviews so far. We've made sure they all have a good shelf life, so well worth a listen. And crucially, for us to grow this pod, if you like it, please do review and share it. Give us a follow too. So we're going to look back at the Monaco Diamond League and ahead to London, throw in a bit of news as well. But I feel like a bit of an outcast recording in the UK today because we know that Katie is out in Switzerland covering the Women's Euros. But Hannah, you've joined the Exodus as well.
I've gone. It sounded too nice last week. Yeah, I've come to Lucerne. It's Lucerne with a Z or a C, not Lausanne, in Switzerland. And I love this place. I think it's the 6th or 7th time I've been, half competing, half commentating. Yeah, just a beautiful corner of the world. It's a continental tour.
Sorry, I thought you meant you were competing this time. I was like, wow, that's rogue.
Well, yes.
I'm back.
Exclusive.
We should have done an emergency pod.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so unfit. There is absolutely no chance I'll be competing in anything, let alone something good. But yeah, commentating only.
You've joined the dark side. I love it. Welcome to Switzerland. So did you literally just got here today, Hannah?
Yeah, and you're right. There is no aircon.
Yeah, they don't believe in aircon here, do they? Apparently, did I say this last week? Any building built after 2008 apparently doesn't have aircon in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Okay.
Yeah, we've done it. Here we go again.
That's really hit me hard.
But I didn't find any cold water yet. I'm up for it. I'm going to try and find some tomorrow.
Yes.
How far away are you two then, Katie? Since we last talked, the mood has changed dramatically around what you're actually covering.
What a difference a week makes. I was like so down, wasn't I, last week? I was like, it's all over. England are going out. And then there were times on Sunday night when they played their game against Wales where at one point England were topping the group because the Netherlands were beating France. So it just completely turned around. Anyway, they go through as group runners-up in Group D, which actually was bonkers. For the first time in so long, a group in a major tournament has had, going into the final round of fixtures, all teams still able to get through to the quarterfinals, which made the permutations absolutely mind-blowingly frustrating for us kind of doing it live because you're like, oh, what does this mean?
Well, you were explaining it very well on 5 Live whilst I was making my dinner last night.
Listen?
Yes, I did.
Thanks, Hannah. I love that.
I get what's going on. Thanks, Katie.
Oh, well, that's great. Well done, me. I literally do like capital letters. This means this. This means this. But yeah, so really good. England suddenly playing really great football again, and quarterfinals, here we come. So my journey continues here. So Rich, we just need you to come and join us now.
Yeah. Maybe next month, but you'll all have gone home, I think.
I'll stay for you.
Right, should we get cracking with Monaco? As always, we'll pick out some of the best bits rather than go event by event, but there's only one place to start because Noah Lyles gate crashed the event by announcing that he'd be there as a late entry. And then Hannah, a performance to go with it.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think I heard some whisperings and I thought, well, there wouldn't be whisperings unless it was true. No smoke without fire. And he just looked like he was running a semi-final at USA's or a major championship. Like he didn't look like he went all the way to the well. And I don't know, to get Tebogo up alongside him and that have no kind of impact. He just stayed looking just as relaxed, just as smooth. And he was asked if he was going to do anything at USA's, and he said he'll wait till he does the 100 in London next week. And because he's reigning world champion in both the 1 and the 2, so he doesn't have to do either at USA's. But he'll be one of those people that get thinking, I'm so glad the world champs is September. And there's going to be a few athletes out there that will go, phew, if this was a normal kind of schedule, I wouldn't have the time to sort myself out. But I think, well, he beat the Olympic champion. There's no questions about whether he's in good enough shape for the rest of the year.
And he said he was running with zero pressure, I think partly because he was talking about not having to go through trials if he didn't want to, but also just that lack of pressure of kind of coming back off the injury. And I think just feeling like he didn't have anything to prove, which I then also like simultaneously don't quite believe, because he obviously wouldn't want to have come here as a late announcement as well and then not have won. But I was, like you, Hannah, so impressed with the manner in which he ran it. He never looked troubled, even when Tebogo was like on his shoulder, with about 75 to go, and then he just kind of upped it one notch, and that was fine.
But it wasn't even, maybe for him, Monaco isn't big pressure. When you just watched everyone go and do pre in front of a home crowd, and USA's is a big deal in Eugene. Like, maybe he did feel like it was low key. I mean, it isn't for European, like for a European athlete or a French athlete, like going to that meet wouldn't be low key, but maybe he felt relatively he was like hiding away from a lot of the expectations.
Talking about expectations and being low key, then what do we think about the fact that he deleted everything off of his Instagram before all this?
What is this all about? Do we know?
He's not really my instinct. I'd love it if he explained it soon, but I wonder if it's a bit of like that's all done. Like staying hungry, trying to add to his achievements, like because it was probably all full of everything, all the amazing things he's achieved in the last sort of 5 years or so. Just kind of saying that's all done, that's all behind me. I don't know, a little bit take the pressure off and a little bit of just like a fresh slate for motivation.
Like
I don't know.
New chapter. But then it's all kind of very curated, isn't it? It's black and white. I saw there's lots of Bible scripture as the captions and things like that. It feels, if it is a new chapter, it feels like quite a kind of interesting, significant one. And I wonder what he's saying about the person that we're seeing in 2025.
Well, the best thing was I did make the cut because he put a post up. One of his, he's only got like 5 posts now. One of them's me commentating on the race. So I was like,
did he tag you?
No, he didn't. No.
Brutal.
Back to
Wait till he sees you compete tomorrow, Hannah. Then maybe roles can be reversed.
Well, I'll send the ripples. Noah.
So we know that the performance was really, really good. But what do we think of like the rivalry with Tebogo? Because I loved it. So I thought it was a bit of like housery going on between the two of them. There was Tebogo doing he was like laughing at Lyles when he came out and sarcastically applauding, and then he did like this big sort of over the top frown when he was introduced to the crowd, and the cheer wasn't as big as it just been for Noah Lyles, and then Lyles tapping Tebogo on the shoulder at the end and going, "Well done, champ." At the end, I just love it. I really enjoyed it. It was all really subtle, but like it was great fun, and I would love to see this continue to build.
I think Tebogo would have really celebrated if he'd won.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think he played it cool. He didn't kind of sulk with the loss. Like he was very sportsmanship like. But if he'd won, he would have been like, stop thinking it was just the COVID that meant I win the Olympics. I won the Olympics.
Yeah,
I am the Olympic champion.
Is it one of those, Rich, where someone needs the win more than the other? Like, did you feel like Tebogo probably wanted it or needed it more, but because it was Lyles, he has to sort of like play it quite cool? I think he's really trying to distance himself in terms of the personalities. He's really, really trying to show that he's trying to show everyone I'm not like him. If you want someone who's a bit more understated, that's going to be a playlist a bit cooler, then go with me. I'm not, go team Tebogo and not Lyles.
That's fair.
Yeah, but then did you see his comments afterwards about not getting enough time for his warm-up because they got called in too soon? And it's the classic, let me give you an excuse, then I'm going to tell you, obviously there are no excuses for coming second, but exactly. I'm just planting that there for you.
No, and then maybe that's an indication of how annoyed he was. Because I think everyone sort of knows you don't want to go into mix zone and give excuses. Like he'd be kicking himself that he said it. He would have gone, I should have just played it. Yeah, I should have not made it seem like it was a big deal I lost or whatever. But then it was interesting to hear Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price this week talk about that panic attack when she was sort of disrupted in her warm-up at the Olympic semi-final. For someone that's been around for years and years and years and years to still be disrupted like that. I think you always want to say to an athlete, like, you need to be adaptable, you need to be able to think on your feet, but those sort of things do really rattle you. If for Tebogo to be up against Lyles and then feel like he couldn't do his final few strides, those aggressive warm-ups ready for an explosive event, like that is significant. But unfortunately, if everyone was in the same boat, then that's that.
Would that bother you as an athlete, or did it ever?
No, I had one British champs where I turned up and I totally misread the timetable and I literally walked in and had to warm up. And
that doesn't sound like you at all.
No, tell me about it, Rich.
She has a spreadsheet for everything.
I don't want to blame anyone, but the schedule was changed.
All right, Tebogo.
not my fault. The schedule was changed. It's my fault for not double checking it. But ultimately, I was so organised that I'd already made my plan. And then someone changed the schedule and they didn't phone me specifically to let me know that it changed.
Unbelievable.
Oh, it's chaos. Yeah.
So look, part 2 coming this weekend. We'll get into our preview in a little bit. So they're going to be going up against each other in the 100. Just some other 200 meter news whilst you're on it. New world lead set in Memphis over the weekend as well. So that's after Monaco. So Tennessee's Tomas McCullum running 1973, wind assisted but legally. So just a very heavy tailwind at the Ed Murphy Classic. So that's the new mark set down, and that would have been a lot more under the radar. But there we go, 1973. I think he ran a really quick wind assisted illegal 100 meters as well, didn't he? There's the same sprinter, McCullum.
But just a word on wind, it was a headwind, and then we're going to mention it in some of the other events, but there was a headwind in Monaco, and the kind of headwind everyone was sulking about was the minus 1.9 for Gout in the pre-event. He won an under 23 race, and everyone was saying he's going to go sub 19, sub 20, sub 19, calm down. Sub 20, and then it was all these conversions going on. If it had been a zero wind, or what would have it equated to?
Yeah,
but, it was good performance from him as well at 17.
Yeah. Well, just rounding up some of the sprints there, because Julian Alfred won the women's 100 10:79. That was into a pretty heavy headwind. Masai Russell out of the top 3 in the 100 metres hurdles. Megan Tapper.
I'd say her start was just naff, Masai Russell.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I maybe travel in the legs, maybe that impacts it slightly, but like it was pretty clear. I don't know. She didn't look like she'd looked in the last few weeks, but not in like an injured kind of way. I think it was just perhaps a mistake at the start. Yeah. So we didn't see the full potential there. But
Megan Tapper winning that, she deserved the headlines, because 12:34 equaling PB, again into a headwind.
Yeah, Megan Tapper was ace. Like, she didn't put her foot wrong, and I really think that's the best race she's done since getting that bronze in Tokyo. I don't know what's been up, whether it's injuries, whatever it's been, but for her to be back up in tip-top shape. Neither of the hurdles need any more people in shape, so they can all just calm down and stop it. Yeah. There's no room. We've already written the script.
Can we move on to the men's 800s? Because we gave this a big build-up, and there's going to be a bit of a replay, I guess, this weekend. But we were talking about potentially a world record.
Yeah, where was the world record, Han?
Yeah. Didn't quite happen, but so won by Emmanuel Wanyonyi, 1:41.44, still very fast, the fastest in the world this year. So we kind of got,
it goes into top 10 as well, all time.
Yeah, it does. It was a stupidly fast time, but we didn't get the whole sort of battle royale that we were talking about, where all of them were going to be pushing each other for the world record. Josh Hoey second, Sajati third, and a new Oceania record as well for Peter Bol, just to highlight that one. But what happened to Marco Arop?
Go on, Katie. Give us
it was a weird. It was a weird run, wasn't it? In terms of like kind of lingering around the back.
Did he get? I mean, yeah. I looked at the replay and thought, did he get stuck? And it didn't seem like the case either. It's just a very strange start. Like, he completely switched off from the start, because he had a really good finish, right? A really good time from Arop generally, but just wasn't anywhere near at the start.
But I've never seen Arop like race without a plan, like kind of just go out there and wing it. So I'm like 100% sure there was a plan, and that would have been to, try and run 49.5, 49.5. And they didn't go as fast as they were meant to. They were meant to go 49 dead, and they were 49.2.
But he didn't know that was going to happen.
No, the pacemaker was, like this is the problem when you go on the circuit and they say, the pacemaker's going to go at 49. And half the field go, oh, I can't do that. And then instead of like listening to their body or actually watching what's going on, they just sit at a set amount off it. And then, almost sort of presume that it's going to go perfectly, and then end up so caught out. So I don't know if he hoped to go through in 50. And actually, because the race went a bit slower than he wanted it to, he was actually and everyone else didn't fade as hard as you'd expect them to if they went through in a 49. He didn't pick up as many pieces but he wasn't finishing like a train either. I wonder if there was just something wrong. I'm not sure.
Do you think he's been talking to Mary Moraa? Just like, okay, a few trade secrets.
We're going to come to her in a minute, I think. But look, so it wasn't. So it was a really good time from Wanyonyi, who is admitting that he is thinking about the world record. So we talked about a world record before. It's 1:40.91. It's the famous David Rudisha London 2012 epic run, which we all love.
Arop was like, "This isn't the place to do it, guys. Like,
I want to do it in London." Where
What do you
Rhodesia
That was what
did
I
it.
said. I was like,
Yeah,
just
okay.
don't take it, please. It's my
So
core
Arop's
memory.
He's gonna like tackle the pacemaker.
But
this
where do we think is if it has to go? Where is a suitable place for it to go? Do we think the
London,
world?
where it happened
Well,
last time.
okay, fine. Or do they wait till the world champs at the end of the season?
So maybe
and do
out of
something
respect,
there?
Arop is saying, even if I got it in a pace-made race, no one would respect me. Like, no one, there'd be no
Yeah.
respect, so I might as well wait till Tokyo.
I
Yeah.
think
Right.
Katie Smith and
That
the
is
podium
why.
crew will not be talking about it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, that's we've got a new rematch this weekend, so we'll talk a bit about that a little bit later on. Women's 1000 would be a good place to go next then, since we mentioned Mary Moraa. So Nelly Cheptegei winning this one, fourth athlete to break 2 minutes 30, unbeaten this year across 4 different distances. She really is a big contender to win a first major medal in Tokyo this year, isn't she? So before we talk about Mary Moraa, Hannah, you've seen Cheptegei a few times this year and commentated on a few of her races. How impressed have you been with her? Because not a lot of people are talking about her.
No, she's undefeated this season in some high-quality fields. And before a competition, you get an opportunity as a commentator sometimes to say who you want to highlight and who you'd recommend that they pause the camera on. And you tend to go with those that have got more accolades next to their name, because you want to say Mary Moraa, world champion. You want to say stuff like that. And I was just sort of saying, if we've got time, also can we do Nelly Cheptegei, because she's undefeated, and I think, why would she not win again, kind of thing. And I think she times all her races to perfection. She's always strong in the last 150, last 200. They've got the Kenyan trials coming up. I think there was some other Kenyan that was called a Kenyan trial, but I don't think it was the Kenyan trial. Or was it national champs happened and now they have a trial?
That's right.
So yeah, she's got to go through that. She's got to make the team. But if she successfully does that, yeah, I think she's definitely one to watch.
Yeah. So Mary Moraa, though, why was she in this race? I know it sounds like maybe that seems like a funny thing to say, but I mean, she's in the 800.
Isn't that the most Mary thing, though?
No, I'm just thinking, because obviously the 800s haven't gone well. In the 15s in Grand Slam track, she just did not look interested at all. Like, she was just happy to come last, just not really make much of an effort, and then her hope was then to try and do something big on the 800. But at the start of this, she was absolutely fine, and then she just completely died in this race. Why, apart from the obvious reason of why you would do this race as an athlete that is going around the world competing, appearance fees and money, why? What is going on with Mary Moraa at the moment?
I don't know, if I just see a bit of kind of, if it's not going perfect, she kind of thinks I won't finish it off. Because she came through 600, it was pretty quick through the first lap, but probably too quick for a lot of the women. And she was running quite well, running a lot closer to it than perhaps she was in pre. And then she made it round to 600 and then just packed it in, just jogged in the last lap. And I don't know if she just felt like, oh, actually, I can't compete here. I can't get something out of it. Why?
Or
is
she working on something else, do you think?
I think there was too much of a give up for that. And
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she could have tried. If she tried to run 157 and then hang on, then I'd be like, yeah, she's working on something. Or she thought it was 800. But
Take a step back though, Hannah, because I mean, we're seeing her go from race to race to race. Barely still seems to be any kind of break. Nothing seems to be working, and it really feels like we're just making. These are opinions that we're just sort of going off of by what we're seeing, but it just feels like she's really forcing it. She's chasing something that at the moment maybe isn't there. And if she took a step back, given the fact there's still enough time, isn't there, before Tokyo to fix something that might be broken?
It's so hard. Like, you see athletes that maybe they've had enough glimmers of hope in training that they think they are actually in all right shape. And
When's she training? Because she's competing all the time.
No, but maybe she's just like, no, I know it's there. And that you're right, chasing's the word, Rich. To chase and chase and chase and chase. And like we saw Tebogo at the start of the season, not running through the line. And then it got so bad he had to jog the whole second half of the race, went away for 6 weeks, sorted himself out, and he's come back perfect. But it takes a lot of courage. If you've got no positive reinforcement from your season so far, it takes a lot of courage to kind of go away and lick your wounds. Like, it's easier to say, I'll go put myself on the line again and see if I can get a different result. But there's such a temptation to keep racing and racing, but you do dig a hole.
Is that then an issue with who she's got around her and who's guiding her? Because surely it's on them to be like, you know what, we need to take a step back and get away from the track for a bit, the circuit, and, head down, go and get some work in.
It's high performance sport, left, right, and centre. Like everyone loses perspective. It's so hard. Like your coaches want to believe what they're seeing in training, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard to make those tough calls. And that's a really hats off to someone like Tebogo for shutting it down and kind of not admitting defeat as such. But you're right, Rich. You do have time to sort something out. And we keep talking about Keely. Where is Keely Hodgkinson? And I keep saying, is she doing the smart thing? Because
and we still don't know.
We still don't know. We won't know. We won't know until September the whatever. But it's sometimes it is better just to wait until you're totally right than keep digging a hole.
We're saying this from like a positive point of view because like the women's 8 is like one of the most exciting, most competitive fields out there, and we always want to see Mary Moraa being part of that and as part of the conversation again. And same with I think Mo at the moment, she's made a slight improvement over the weekend, but again, we want her to get back to her best. We want it to be completely stacked. We want the best race that we can possibly see throughout the rounds as well. So all the rounds are going to be exciting in Tokyo, but let's hope she can get back to it.
Women's USA is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Archie Wilson back under 2 minutes. There were a load of, I lost count. I reckon there were 6 and then broke 2 this weekend in American meets, not including Addie Wiley, who ran great in Monaco, not including I think Mo, who didn't break 2. To make that women's US final is going to be 158 minimum.
And before we come back down in distances and look at some of the field events as well, I'm just going up just to mark a few bits. No world record for Yomif Kecalcha, so I'll edit that out of the last one. But I still think he could do something special again on the track soon. He did a lot of that on his own again.
He said that might be his last ever 5K.
Okay.
He said,
did he? I didn't hear that.
I'm hoping to do 10K in Tokyo, and then I'll go to the roads.
Yeah, I think he could be
pleased to finish on a win, but yeah.
I'd love to see what he can do on the roads, especially over the marathon distance for Kecalcha. I mean, I just think he's a talent that could really succeed in the longer distance stuff. Jimmy Gressier finishing well in that one. And then the steeplechase I want to just highlight as well, because Ryuji Miura of Japan chasing down Soufiane El Bakkali, and this was really exciting, wasn't it? Because we could just see El Bakkali was just... He was like in quicksand, wasn't he? It just wasn't going anywhere. It's just he was willing the line to come along. And then that burst off of the final steeple. Miura, just 23, home championships approaching as well. New national records, 7th and 8th at the last 2 Olympic Games. But proving maybe that he can get in the medal mix himself. That was quite a run.
And I think that's such a key point as well, Rich, about... the home champs Tokyo, because we watched him compete, didn't we, when we did the Tokyo Golden Grand Prix, and he's just a class above in terms of like national level in Japan. But I think and that was in the same stadium, wasn't it? That was the Olympic Stadium. So he's run there already this season. But the El Bakkali little burst at the end, that blew me away. Like the fact he was able to just find what it basically went for 10 meters, didn't he? And he was like, okay, fine, I've shut you down. And actually I was like, whoa, don't mess with this guy. Like that was so impressive.
I love like El Bakkali's last 150 is normally insane. Like that's where he's beat Lemaitre Girma over the last few championships. He can just fly off that last water jump. And I wonder if he was so tired.
Yeah.
He was just limping it. Every time he came off a barrier, it was like a sack of potatoes, but a very quick double Olympic champion kind of sack of potatoes. not wanting to offend the guy, but he just looked like tireder and tireder with every barrier. It's when you say like they have to get the step ladder out when they're getting really tired.
Yeah.
But he did show some good grit in the last 50. Just to say, I didn't run 2,950 meters to lose it now. But I think El Bakkali would be pretty gutted not to have gone sub 8 though. I think.
Just think though, that actually the atmosphere for that one Tokyo final is going to be unreal. True. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay, let's just, the last few bits on the track that we're going to focus on, the women's 400 metres. So Femke Bol, first woman under 52 seconds this year. Dalila Mohammed, second in 52.58. That's a world V35 record. So Mohammed's still very much a contender.
Thank you for pointing that out, or not?
Why not? Own it.
I'm with you. I mean, I would own any V35 record.
There we go. But look, I mean, okay, let's flip it on its head as well. And as a V35, she's just gone and got her best time in 4 years as well. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and Anna
that's
Cockle
great.
coming third with a season's best. But again, Femke Bol making it look easy. I mean, how many times do we have to? We probably say the same thing over and over again. That's kind of why I kind of wanted to highlight Dalilah Muhammad, really.
No, I think Muhammad looked fantastic, and she said that this is like her farewell tour.
Yeah,
and I love it. She's doing so many more races than normal. And she said that's the first time she's ever raced in Monaco, and yeah, she ticked it off the bucket list. But she must have had a seriously good winter to be able to just kick back and go to any opportunity she can to race and enjoy it and be running as fast as she is.
I like seeing her happy as well. She's one of those athletes that I worry sometimes that she doesn't seem to really be enjoying it. And she just really, like, it looks like she's made that decision and now she's running free. Whereas I think on the other end of it, you've obviously got the sort of really interesting dynamic of Femke Bol and what she can do. Like, we know what a talent she is and we know the time she can hit, but then it's when you just throw Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone back in the mix, like how on earth do you ever stop her when it feels like Femke Bol is good enough to be a generational talent, and yet there is someone who's just a freak of nature almost. And I feel like that I mean that in such a positive way. She's just so unbelievable, and it just doesn't feel fair sometimes, I think, to Femke Bol. And I think they're both fantastic, but I just wonder, like, how do you approach every single season knowing that there's someone that is just always seems to be that bit better than you?
And do you know what I looked up? Femke Bol hasn't lost to 4 hurdles on the circuit outside of a championship since 2019. Like, it's like when you look and there's a meeting record and it's not her, you're like, well, that will go tonight. But I think it's 50-50 for me. I think Femke Bol is forced to try new things in training with stride patterns and all that sort of stuff. So she's forced to find her limit and not be complacent, which is motivating. But I also think it must be frustrating always having to push yourself to a new skill and not be able to sort of bed in and just work on what you... I don't know, just have to change your leg. It's always something, isn't it? It's always having to change her stride pattern, change her legs in the blocks. And I hope it does unlock, something else in the 50 seconds for Femke Bol, but it might not be enough, which is, like you say, Katie, it's kind of harsh, isn't it?
And we're just waiting to see what Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is going to do. She was meant to race at the weekend, but didn't. And that goes back to the women's 400, which I'm going to say right now it needs to be spiced up a little bit. I don't know what you both think.
Is this your hot take?
Well, I just think it's, of all of the events at the moment...
Reverse the direction. Just reverse the direction. That would spike it. They did that at the Brussels Diamond League one year.
Well, go the other way.
400 the wrong way, yeah.
Let's not say, sorry, yeah. Well, it'd be interesting. But it's not, this isn't because I'm saying that the field is not interesting to watch. That's not the case. It's the fact that we're not getting the matchups. So while some of the other events, we are seeing these great races outside of championships, we're not getting it in the women's 400. I feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion in almost every race we see. It's either Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, or it's Paulino, or it's Nasser, or it's Gabby Thomas. Very rarely we're seeing everyone go up against each other. And I just think it needs a bit... I don't know why you think this might be happening. Do they just not want to sort of reveal their hands to each other? We don't even know what McLaughlin-Levrone is doing half the time in terms of what she's going to be concentrating on. But do you agree? Do you feel like it could do with a little bit of spicing up on a sort of weekly basis?
Didn't happen at the LA Grand Prix, Grand Slam track. You feel like it would have happened at the LA Grand Slam track, and you just got so excited for it. And
yeah, maybe. Did you agree though? I mean, like most of the other events, we're seeing these great battles, and I just feel like we're not getting it there at the moment.
Just pause that thought for a second. My laptop's about to die. You can carry on. I will miss 10 seconds, so I'll try and figure out what you said.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rich. I do and I don't. I think I'm so impressed by 48. I'm still kind of blown away by people running 48 seconds.
The time's great, but like it's not as exciting when someone else is so far away.
What are you thinking back on though that was more exciting? Like I loved watching Shawnee Miller-Weibo run. Like I thought that she was really interesting ones. I don't know. I just
like to get them a little bit. I just like to see more of them in the same races. That's it. It's the racing, really. It's not so much
Gabby
about
Thomas
the achievements.
do you think she's just shut it down back to 200 now, though? Like,
Oh,
done
potentially.
a few novelty 400s, and that's that.
I know it depends on what, like, you know, what's going to happen in the next few weeks when it comes to trials and everything else. But I just like to see it, you know, a little bit more exciting at the moment.
Will you forgive it all if
half the times?
Yeah, we forgive everything if McLaughlin Lavergne does fall flat for the rest of the season.
If we see her racing up against some of the others, yeah. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah. Not she's just running out in front of her on her own all the time.
No. But now you've said it, I don't have a response and I can't defend it. Which it's going to really hurt me to say it, but I think you might be right.
If you got your dream, Rich, before World Champs or even at World Champs, and you do get all the contenders together, who do you think has the edge at the moment?
Good question.
He's not been watching it because it's not been interesting.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's difficult to say.
Shawnee Miller-Weebo?
We wish. That would be. I freaking love that.
Yeah, I go for Inessa maybe.
Okay.
But Bukowiecka's getting better every race, but I don't think she'll win. I think she'll get a medal.
Because that's one way to flip it. Is that it's a bit annoying. I think totally at the moment compared to other events where it feels like we're getting the matchups, but it does keep it completely intriguing for when they do finally all come together.
When is it just too much? We've got to get the US trials. You've got Alea Brooks, Bella Whittaker, Alexis Holmes, who had quite a big indoor season. Those guys just having to be right for the trials, and maybe it's unavoidable with the US trials and the way they are. They're so hard to make the team. You're always going to have a bit of a you're always going to lose some people until that's done.
Yeah, potentially. Well, maybe this is the part of the season where it is a bit tricky because, like you say, everyone's trying to sort of find a balance between wrapping themselves up in cotton wool and going to trials when sometimes the pressure, if it's especially something like the US system where it's so high pressure, you have to be really careful. Anyway, we will revisit this. A quick field roundup. Just
I can't
wait
for like some insane time in London. Is everyone sport London?
It'll be fine.
Rich,
so just some events from the field. Jessica Schilder won the women's shot put. Jordan Scott with 2 PP jumps to win the triple jump. Woo Sang-hyuk equaling the world lead set by Oleg Dorosuk earlier this year indoors, but it was the best outdoors clearance-wise, 2.34 meters. And then Mondo winning again. He's very gracious, praising Corrales for pushing him. But is it? I sometimes wonder how much this is a real push. I just think sometimes it means that he has to go through the rounds a bit further and fatigue himself, meaning he can't go for the next world record because he has to jump another height. But he tried it again, didn't he? 3 attempts at 6.29, wasn't able to see it over the line this time.
I'm just always amazed now when you find out that he's got a meeting record and you're like, I just can't believe you didn't own that already. Like, surely he has all of them now.
Yeah.
It'd be good actually to go through and see which ones he doesn't have, because I assume
not many.
Probably want to target.
Yeah. Anything that doesn't anything that really stands out for you from that? And Hannah, I know you were inside the stadium, so is there anything that caught your eye?
I enjoyed Jan Steffler afterwards saying he wasn't going to let himself go to another Diamond League had he not performed well. He was sick of going to Diamond Leagues and not breaking 2:30, and he was like, I told myself this is my last chance. So we will see Jan Steffler at another Diamond League. He is allowed to come again. He was second, but it was a good competition for him. Schilder, that was round 6. It was in the final 3, and I think she was the last to throw because she went into the final 3 and 3rd. So again, that has been happening in the Diamond League season more than I feel like it happened at the start. And I think you're right. Like, Corrales is basically just denting the opportunity for Mondo to do a world record. By making him jump more at 6:10 and 6:15, but it doesn't. But it's
fine. I mean, it's good. I mean, there might come a day one day that it just that Mondo's just not in the right headspace, you know, and it could happen. But could you see it happening?
Well, which one of you two did Nanjing in the end, the field specific stream? Because that there was a little bit of you could just see, because Duplantis, he doesn't really have to jump more than 4 times to win something.
Yeah, that was the one.
Suddenly, if you do, like, it's different.
Yeah, that was the one where he didn't look. Where he was. Maybe that was maybe the first time actually where Corrales was sort of making him go an extra height. And that was when
in control, was he?
No, and that was when Corrales was in really good form as well, probably the best form he's been in all season. So you're right, he couldn't completely control it, and I think he was a bit surprised actually when Corrales even, I think he skipped a height. I think he had one failure and then went up a height again, and then I think that surprised Duplantis. That's the sort of way maybe to get into his head, just to play a few sort of tactical games.
That's what I freaking love about Corrales. Like he's going, I could clear a 6-5 here and have a good mark next to my name, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to disrupt and I'm trying to beat Duplantis.
Yeah.
And because he went 2 attempts at 6-10 and one at 6-15 or something, or 6-5 and 6-10.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he ended. I think his best jump of the competition was under 6. Could be making things up. I feel like he had like a good score.
Did he? I thought he went over 6.
He went over 6 meters in
6.
Nanjing, didn't he? I think, but
yeah.
But in Monaco, he was under 6.
Yeah, he was 5.92, and instead of kind of being obsessed with another competition over 6 meters, he's obsessed with disrupting and trying to get into Duplantis' head. Not that he's probably not achieving it, is he?
Just quickly mentioning a few results from elsewhere. Jake Whiteman, very positive, 1:44.71 in his first 800-meter race of the season to win an event in Italy. So good to see that from Jake. Now, look, before we move on to London, just some other news to reflect on. And I think we had to just mark this, I think, the Caster Semenya's ongoing battle against eligibility rules. And a small win, really, for her at the European Court of Human Rights. And I'm going to borrow, if you're a Rest is Politics fans, then you might understand, I'm going to borrow one of Rory Stewart's explainers just to make sure you know where we're at. So Caster Semenya, now 34, twice an Olympic champion, 3 times world champion. And the situation is very complex, but put simply, she can't compete at the moment without taking testosterone-lowering medication, which she won't do now. Her body produces higher levels than most women, but this victory last week at Europe's top human rights court doesn't change anything in terms of the rules itself. It merely decided that she did not have a fair trial when she contested the policy set out by World Athletics. So what this could mean is the case is reopened, that it goes back to the Swiss Federal Tribunal, which ruled in 2020, and that led to this whole legal battle that is ongoing. Rules are controversial, not least because the scientific evidence is not conclusive one way or another. This is a very different issue to trans athletes competing in women's sport, for example. It's very, very complex. And let's not sort of decide whether the rules are right or whether the rules are wrong. But I think it is worth reflecting maybe on what Caster Semenya is doing in terms of fighting for her own rights, and she's not going to let this go.
It is, and I think she's very passionate from what I've read about just making sure this is done 100% correctly, whether it's going to change anything for her at her stage in her career and her life. But I think she's very, very passionate about saying you have to do this correctly. There was I can't remember who she was speaking to. It was one of BBC Sounds podcasts that we get in the UK. She was speaking to someone about explaining sort of what she's been through. And it's horrendous what she's been through in her career. She was so young when this all started, and I think maybe this is the best closure she can get, is just making sure everything is done as well as possible, or as fairly as possible in what is a minefield for everyone.
I would just echo that, because I think, like Hannah said, the vulnerable positions and the scrutiny she was put under from such an early age, at so many moments that should have been so special and inspirational for so many different communities, were tarnished in so many different ways and picked apart. And I think maybe that's the one thing she really feels she has now, is that because every aspect has been poured over in her life, that she's quite used to that. So if she can at least be that bastion for other people to take the brunt of it, and at least make sure no stone is unturned, and every answer that is possibly there at the moment can be found, then I think that clearly is her mission at this point. So be really interesting to see what does happen next, because I think for all of us this is an unprecedented situation. Like, every time something happens new in this I don't know what to call it, sort of news line and saga, we've never been there before. So I guess we'll just keep reporting on it and and see where it goes next.
I think it's a shame as well for that there's a lack of understanding. So I kind of wanted to sort of bring it up as well, in that it kind of somehow gets mixed up in the sort of trans conversation as well. It's got nothing to do with the same thing, but it just, on social media, it gets very, like, people don't understand it, and it gets brought into the same thing that's got nothing to do with it. And she gets such a hammering, on social media. It seems to be so hard for her. And like you say, I think you're right, because this isn't a sporting thing anymore. This is about fighting for what she believes should be right instead.
Well, there were headlines when all the trans rulings came out a while ago. There were headlines, and then they would put Caster Semenya as a picture.
Yeah, it's really
There's multiple news outlets, and it's just like, that is horrendous journalism. Like, it's just not correct. And never mind, never mind just confusing the issue further. I can believe that. I think that was part of this radio show I listened to her on, was talking about that, and just sort of saying, this is not, like, that's not my battle, like, that's not my situation, and that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about my situation and the other women in the same boat as me. And that has been frustrating to watch that confusion.
Yeah, exactly that. Okay, let's move it on to the London Diamond League meeting. And it's an event that I think means a lot to all of us, because it brings back memories of London 2012, and the stadium looks a lot different now. It's not quite the same. The iconic floodlights and that design, I'm so disappointed that's not there anymore. They're sort of been inverted, haven't they? So they sort of go, the sort of triangles go down rather than up. So this has become mainly a football stadium where football fans don't like going to watch football. And we still all like going to watch athletics.
Well, the ground in Zurich that I've been based at mostly through the Women's Euros so far has an athletics track around it.
It's a Diamond League one.
Stadion Letsile. Oh, is it the same one?
Oh,
I hadn't clocked it was that one. Oh, okay. That's very bad form from me then. But it's only because I've never been, so they'll have to send me and I'll go and do it. But it was, when we walked in, like, the whisperings under people's breaths were like, oh my God, it's West Ham. It's West Ham. And I was like, guys, it's going to be fine. And obviously it's way smaller. I think capacity is like 22,500 or something. But I think it's brilliant. It's it's proper, like, Colosseum-esque. It's just one bank of seating. There aren't tiers to it, so it does feel like this sort of sheer drop of, like, bodies of people, and it almost sunken into the ground. It's great.
But London is a great athletic stadium, right? I mean, we do still have great memories of it. It's usually a fast track as well. Before we get onto the actual event, though, should we talk about, very briefly, because I know this won't mean a lot to fans outside of the UK, but there is a new broadcast deal here, so it's going to be on the BBC for another 4 years, I think, till 2029 at least. Good to hear that it's going to be free to air, but there are no details, and I kind of want to look past just the fact that it is just free to air, because UK athletics has not been in a great position financially over this past few years, and we didn't know whether we didn't get, like, this meeting being able to be held because of all the financial issues around it. So my concern is the deal good enough? Is it, we can champion it for exposure, but have BBC paid a fair whack here to actually, for what it's actually worth? And I don't think Katie's probably going to end up responding to this question, but we gotta hope that it has, right?
Honestly, I think exposure trumps so much of that. Because
you've got to be able to put it on, and there's been doubts about whether UK can do that.
No one's going to want to.
And they've only just done that. They've only just got a sponsor.
Yeah, but because they were able to go to them and say, this BBC deal is nearly through.
Yeah, but I just think it would have been a foregone conclusion anyway.
No one's going to sponsor if you're only on. We had years when we were on the British Athletics TV, which is a great platform, run on YouTube. That's not going to put that does. Well, we saw it does not pull in sponsors. People are not going to pay to sponsor an event unless they're getting on BBC. And I think, unfortunately, that's the situation. And BBC don't have to. They don't have to pay a lot for it, because they're offering a massive, wonderful platform here in the UK. Like, it's. I hear what you're saying, but I just think that exposure just counts for so much more than what the TV deal is. Like, what's the point in signing, I don't know, something with, like, Amazon Prime or something like that, and half your fans have, I mean, a lot of people do have Amazon Prime now, but half your fans don't have Amazon Prime. And everyone always says, I don't remember to watch athletics, but when I turn on the TV and it's there, I don't turn it off. And that's our strength, and that has to be a BBC strength.
I just hope it's maybe the start. I mean, it has to be the start of something that is the recovery that UK athletics needs to go through, because we need to see more meets here. We need to, I just think that just needs to happen. So as long as it's not being sort of given away for that, because I completely agree, Hannah, there's no doubt all of us would say exactly the same thing. It needs to be on free-to-air TV. That's the whole only reason this sport grows, or any sport grows really, unless you're the Premier League and football. It doesn't need anything like that. But I just think it's really important.
That commitment, but with that commitment, that brings they're going to send a whole crew and a whole group to championships, and then you get that British focus on those British athletes, and their profile gets raised, and they get better sponsorship, and it just grows and grows and grows. And I think free to air, it doesn't have to be BBC, but free to air is really, really important. Yeah,
but it is going to be on the BBC. So there we go. So that's going to be there till 2029.
And you two are both going, aren't you?
I'm not. I'm on a stag do.
Oh, are you? Oh, sorry. Got that wrong.
Yeah, I'm going on a stag do with them.
Take them with you.
Hopefully over COVID by that point, because we didn't say that, but that's what I'm dealing with right now. So not quite as exciting as you two. Okay, but let's go on to just previewing some of the events. So I don't want to go over all ground here. But headline is the headlines really are who are not there. Talking a few days out from the meet, and should we start with? We'll start with Jakob Ingebrigtsen quickly, because we know we knew that wasn't going to happen. He's already announced last week that he was going back to St. Moritz. He's essentially gone back to altitude training. Looks like kind of restarting where he sort of picking up where he left off before he got injured, basically, and sort of restarting the program back to Tokyo. So no Jakob against Josh Kerr. We'll come to that in a minute. But Keely, no Keely Hodgkinson. And the same question goes again. How much of this is a concern ahead of Tokyo? Because the statement, I believe, said something like looking forward to competing again this month, but there isn't anything left, is there, in July? Do they mean UK champs?
Yeah, I suppose that's right at the start of August, isn't it? So technically not true. Maybe similar bracket.
Maybe they mean 4 weeks, because you've got sort of a Continental Tour Gold early August. I think there'll be stuff picking up
Semantics.
Straight after. Semantics. I've been defending this decision, and I am going to defend it for another 3 weeks.
Well, but I don't think it needs to be defended. I mean, she's clearly very, very close if they keep, if they're giving weeks or a month versus, those statements where it's completely, there's not even a date. It's like, oh, shame she can't compete. The end, no word on it. And I just don't think she's in a position right now where there's kind of any pressure on her. Obviously, having never won the world gold, that's a massive, massive motivator for her. But I just think where she is in her career, even if she comes back and she isn't right this season and it doesn't work out, I just don't see it as some big disaster, if I'm honest, with where she's at. And she is in such a secure spot with so many of the right people around her. It doesn't feel like there's any sense that she's like not motivated to get back or be training. She's clearly there and putting in the hard yards. I think they're just being patient, and so that's sort of fine with me.
Yeah, I think my only way to counter that is just the fact that that's kind of fine in a lot of sports, where there's a lot of where it's sort of being followed all the time. Whereas I think a lot of casual fans are watching and know about Keely Hodgkinson. And so, they may not, the team and herself may not be putting any pressure on her, but there will be a lot of pressure on her from externally, and expectations, at least, for people that maybe don't follow the sport week in, week out.
And it is tough. Like, you just emptied the tank and nailed it and become Olympic champion, and you're not getting to stand on the start line as many times as you want. And I know it's a cliche thing to say, standing on the start line and be announced as Olympic champion, but it's probably pretty awesome. Never mind the financial implications, or just continuing.
Still time, Hannah. Still time for you.
Tomorrow night when I run them. I think you want to build that momentum when you're becoming a celebrity like she is in the UK. I think you're right there, Rich, to just sort of almost go missing. I mean, you want to build up tension and build up sort of the anticipation, but yeah, she's missing that opportunity to kind of capitalise. And she'll be gutted to miss London. I don't think there's any way that would have been like an easy decision to make.
Yeah, in terms of the 800 though, so Georgia Hunter-Bell will be going in it. And again, Hannah, you've already said that you think she's going to double up in the 8 and the 15. So she go into this as favourite potentially. And just to sort of flag as well, because we don't talk about her as much recently, Laura Muir's second race of the season this Saturday.
I'm delighted to see Laura Muir on such a high-class start list. I think she's quite smart. She uses a lot of the small races we've got in Britain to tune up and to work on things. I think she's tore her calf at the British Indoor Champs. That went to kick with Melissa Courtney Bryant, I think, or was it Hannah Nuttall? It was Hannah Nuttall, wasn't it? They went to have a kick, and Laura, just her calf went then, and I haven't heard of any other issues, but that's taken a long time to recover from. But she's a crowd pleaser. Like, who doesn't want to see Laura Muir run? Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I was just looking up how old she was. I wasn't sure, 32. I like, it just gives me like a burst of nostalgic joy when I see Laura Muir. And I feel like that's maybe being a bit disrespectful and putting her in the past tense. Like, I just think it'd be really nice to see her, and she always runs well in front of home crowds. So I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Shall we move on to, because we mentioned it already, the men's 1500, because we're going to see Josh Kerr for the first time since the start of June. Grand Slam track in Philly. That was a season's best 3:34.44 at the time.
What are people running since?
I know. So 12 times under 3:30.
And have you heard of any of them?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because this has become, it was already a mind-blowing event in terms of the depth and those who could challenge for the medals. But 12 people have gone 12 times under 3:30. None of them by the big hitters in terms of Kerr, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, Yared Nuguse, Cole Hocker. Instead, it's Azzedine Abs who sits on top of that list. He's not going to be there in London. But George Mills is currently the British number one, and he will be there. So will Neil Gourley, Elliot Giles, Jake Whiteman. It's a big one for Josh Kerr, this, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think it's not unusual for Josh Kerr to have big gaps between races. And it was almost more unusual to see him commit to Grand Slam track in that many races. So I've not got any kind of hesitations about was that gap anything other than intentional. I think he will have relished the chance to go away, get fit, and come to the big occasion, because he loves these big races. Josh Kerr, for me, he doesn't do them unless he's totally ready. But he's got all those Brits breathing down his neck. All the attention's been on George Mills with his great 5K. Everyone's wondering, like you said, Jake Whiteman back down to 144. I think there is going to be pressure on Josh Kerr, and there's a lot of other good internationals in there as well. Like Fanuel Koech is really going well.
Do you think he'll have a time in mind, though? Do you think he's running for a time in London? Like, wants a performance?
Just wants to win, doesn't he? Do you think? Do you not think, Hannah? Do you think he's going for time?
I think he'd want to send a message.
Especially with everything that's happening. I just wonder if he's now like, I've got to run, as it's 3:20 something.
I think if he's had an uninterrupted training, he goes out there and tries to run a 3:28. I think anything over 3:30, unless it becomes clear it was a real tactical. Is it a mile or 50? Is it 15?
15, yeah.
Anything, unless it becomes really clear he's trying to go at the back and do a huge last 600. I'd be very surprised if it isn't anything other than absolute foot down. This is what I could have done if I was in all those other races you're getting excited about.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. And I think it's funny, isn't it? We're seeing these Diamond League meetings recently. And we saw Grant Fisher, I think, when he was in the first mile in however many years. I think Solomon Barrega's dropping down to do his first 1500 since 2020.
He's been talking to Hassan. Going.
Yes. Well, let's talk about
wacky.
Sifan Hassan, because if you're going to go and do a marathon in 6 weeks, probably you go and do a mile on the track.
When there's a really good 5K on the same day.
Yeah, what is going on? So anyway, maybe though, Hannah, does this not give maybe an indication of what she might be planning for in Tokyo in terms of maybe she is going to go and attack the 15 again?
I would bloody love it if this does mean she's doing something in Tokyo, track in Tokyo.
I mean, it has to be, right? Why would you turn up and do the mile when you're competing in a marathon in 6 weeks' time, a hilly marathon, an up and down marathon? And which in itself is only a couple of weeks before the World Championships. It just doesn't.
There is no logic. Maybe
there is no logic. So maybe she's maybe she's, I don't know. I feel like maybe, does that mean she's going to, I don't know, your head spirals, doesn't it? Because now I start thinking, she's going to do the triple again in Tokyo? She's going to go for that? She thinks she's quick enough to be running a quick mile? I mean, you look at that and you just go, oh, she's going to go for the 15, isn't she?
Like, it's a competitive field, but I don't think it'll be pace made at something crazy. It's not going to be pace made at world record or 4:10 pace or something. Hassan's PB is 4:12. I think they're going to pace make it at like a 4:18 and just let them all fight it out. And it'll be a bit of a different.
That's good for her, though, isn't it?
Well,
like a fight would be is a sort of
unless she's
race
got no closing speed, which she shouldn't have if she's doing.
That's the thing. Like, what do you even expect from her in that?
No idea. I mean, the nearest challenge is Berke Halom and Jessica Hull, right? So they're probably the biggest threats to Hassan, but there've been stronger mile lineups.
No, maybe it won't be slow with Hull in it, will it? Because she likes running fast. Yeah.
It
was when I opened it up and saw that there was a perfectly good 5K. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't realise there was a 5K. She just entered the mile.
I sort of hope that.
Went on the entry system, just dropped down.
She didn't have your spreadsheets out with her. She was like, da-da-da-da, pick one, finger at random. Oh, the 100, okay.
Who knows?
We talked a lot about Noah Lyles and Tebogo. We don't want to go over old ground again, but just very quickly, they're going to be going in the 100 meters. Looking like an exciting race, this one. Quite a few Brits in there. Jeremiah Razou's there. Zarnell Hughes. Third race of the season for Louis Hinchliffe as well, who had a bit of an early season setback, didn't he, when he was injured early on. So we haven't seen much of him yet, but maybe an early sign of what might come at the UK Championships a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 100. I know I was banging on about it last week. I just really impressed with Zarnell Hughes and where he's at. Also, we've spoken to Jeremiah Razou recently, haven't we? So that episode's gonna be out pretty soon. But he is just breeding all sorts of like interesting confidence with like being back in Wales and the World Indoor Crown and just like all this interesting psychological firepower from Paris and everything that happened there, and obviously having such a solid start to the season and such an amazing indoors. I'm feeling quite positive about where he's at, but it'd be really interesting to see him up against those big I was about to say the big boys. Oh, I hate that phrase. Stop me. Someone talk, please.
No, I think you're right. And Azu, he had heavy strapping on in pre, and he didn't look himself.
Yes.
But then Sunday night here in the UK, he did a 10:16, which
Okay.
isn't phenomenal, but I think it's an outdoor season's best. And he didn't have any strapping on his shoulder. It almost looked like he'd like hurt, like a sort of, I don't know, maybe a lifting injury or fallen over or something like that. So if he's, I'd be looking for Azu to get closer to 10 seconds. I'd be looking to see how Hinchliffe does in such a high quality race, because we haven't seen obviously high quality races at the Olympics, but this is a big test for him. And then I think you're right. I think Hughes is getting better with every race. I don't think he can live with Tebogo and Lyles yet. Unless
Do you not?
I think he'd need a blinder of a start, and one of them would have to have a bit of a slow start.
Well, it depends how preoccupied they are with each other. Maybe we've seen that sort of thing happen before. So maybe if Zarnell Hughes can just gets a good lane draw and a little bit outside.
I think he maybe in 3, 4, 5 weeks. Yeah, with Hughes.
I mean, ultimately,
I'm not writing him off for Tokyo. I just think right now he's on the slow build.
It's just all about what he's written in his notebook. I mean, if he's got a time, who are we to argue? So I would just consult page 3 and we'll be on our way.
Yes.
You picked a different page, a number.
It's because he's with the big boys.
Oh, goodness me.
Sorry.
Right, Julian Alfred will go in the women's 200 metres. Dina Asher-Smith's in there too. Katrina Johnson-Thompson among the athletes in the women's long jump. Meika Mahambo's there. Larissa Diapakino and the world indoor champion Claire Bryant. But the men's long jump looks like a bit of a treat. So it's outside the main broadcast window, isn't it? So I think it's one of those that if you have got tickets at that sold out stadium, make sure you get inside the stadium early to watch what could be a really good men's long jump competition.
I'm sure the final 3 will end up in the TV window. That'd be my guess. But yeah, real opportunity. If you do have a ticket, a really good excuse to turn up and watch the whole thing. You've got the full podium from Paris in Tentoglu, Falani and Pinnock. And then you're adding in Liam Adcock, we're just going to see if he does a backflip again. But Simon Ahammer is doing it. But he's doing a hurdles race here in Switzerland. He's doing the hurdles here in Switzerland, where I am. And I'm like, does that mean he's doing the decathlon in Tokyo?
Surely.
Yeah, because if he was doing the long jump in Tokyo, he'd just be long jump, long jump, long jump. But the fact that in a week he's doing 2 different events, that got me excited because I love him in either event, but I do love it when he does the decathlon.
So one reason to get there early, and if you have got tickets as well, a really decent para athletics program as well. So make sure you get inside the stadium nice and early. I think that's where we'll wrap today. Big thank you to both of you for giving up some of your time on your Swiss adventures. I'm just back into the kitchen to do some cooking. And look, thank you for listening.
And not infect anyone.
And not infect anyone. Yeah, well, everyone else has got their COVID jab, so they're all right. We're back on Thursday with our next athlete interview. Once again, please do review, follow and share. But it's bye for now.